Hi guys, I'm Takira. Welcome back to my channel. As you guys saw in the title, I am going to be showing you guys my top 10 winter fragrances. So if you guys watched my top fall fragrances videos, I did do one for daytime and I did one for nighttime as well. I will still be wearing most of those fragrances in the winter because here in Florida, the temperature isn't much different between fall and winter. It has been getting pretty cold here recently, at least cold for Florida. So we've been having like 50-degree weather in the daytime, which like I said is pretty cold for us, and I've been loving it. But specifically the nighttime fall fragrances I mentioned will most likely carry on over into the winter, so I won't be showing you guys any of the fragrances that I showed you guys in those videos. So if you're interested in those videos, I will have them linked down in my description box for you to check out if you missed them. But yeah, with that being said, we can go ahead and jump into my winter countdown. Before we get started, go ahead and leave your scent of the day down in the comments because I love seeing what you guys are wearing. And also go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and make sure you're subscribed to my channel because that really helps my channel out. And as usual, this won't be in any particular order besides my scent of the day, which will be the first fragrance I'm going to be starting with. But my scent of the day is Angel Share by Kilian. Look at that gorgeous bottle. It's nice and heavy too. And as you can see, I already have a pretty large dent in it. We're not gonna talk about that. Ever since I got it, I've been obsessed with it. So I'm gonna have to start putting this down. But as of right now, I'd say this is my #1 winter fragrance pick. This was literally a love at first sniff for me. Now the reason I picked this up is because of my boo here on YouTube, Rebecca Collazo. If you guys aren't subscribed, you should go do so. I'm sure if you're watching me though, you're probably watching Becky because she's amazing. But when this first came out, I wasn't interested in it. I looked at the notes and I was immediately like, yeah, no, I'm good. Because I saw that cognac note sitting right up front. And I'm not someone who loves boozy fragrances. So I saw the cognac note and then I saw the bottle and it looks like a whiskey glass. I saw that and I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be way too boozy for me. I'm not even gonna waste my time. But then Becky sampled it. And she told us to her it smelled like a cinnamon roll. Now y'all know I love my sweet gourmand fragrances, so when she says cinnamon roll, I'm like, yeah, sign me up. And then I watched Simply Aisha's video here on YouTube, and she said that it's not a super boozy fragrance, which was music to my ears because I didn't want like a super boozy fragrance. Now for me, it is boozy, but it's not overly boozy to where I'm turned off. I enjoy the booziness in this fragrance, and it does smell like a cinnamon roll. It actually smells like both of the comparisons that I heard. I've heard people say cinnamon roll, I heard people say apple pie. So when I first smelled it, I was immediately like, yeah, it definitely smells like a boozy cinnamon roll or a boozy apple pie fragrance. What's weird is it goes back and forth between the two for me. Sometimes I smell a cinnamon roll and sometimes I smell apple pie. The note that's most prominent in this fragrance to my nose and on my skin is that cinnamon note. And the cinnamon note stays from the beginning to the end. For me, this fragrance starts off pretty sweet, but it's one of those fragrances that as it settles on the skin, it gets less sweet. So for me, it's the sweetest in the opening. And once it dries on my skin, I start to get more of the woodiness that it has. So I feel like this fragrance is perfectly unisex. Men or women can wear it. I feel like it doesn't lean in either direction. I think what they were going for with this fragrance was for that woodiness. I think it's an oak note that's in it. The woodiness in this is like the scent of the oak barrels that the cognac is aged in. So as it dries on my skin, it becomes more woody, and I feel like it becomes a bit more boozy in the dry down as well. Still not overly boozy to where I'm turned off by it. It still is very much a very well balanced fragrance. The first day I got this, I wore it out and I got a compliment. And I've told you guys, compliments here are far and few between. So when I get one, I usually remember it. And it was interesting because the person had on their mask and we were at least 6 feet apart when he smelled me. And he was like, oh my gosh, you smell so good. the way he said it though, it was like, it seemed like he felt compelled to tell me how good I smelled, if that makes sense. And I was telling the girls when I tried this fragrance, I'm like, this is one of those fragrances that you wear and you just know you smell good. I told them this before I even went out and got the compliment, so I think the compliment just kind of confirmed what I told them. But yeah, this is amazing. It was a blind buy for me as well. I did not sample this beforehand, so I'd say that this is probably, no, not even probably, this is my most expensive blind buy to date, and I have zero regrets. So again, that is my scent of the day, and that is Angel Share by Kilian. Now, as I said, these fragrances aren't in any particular order, but I was looking at my lineup here, and this second one I grabbed is probably my second favorite winter scent. So the fragrance I'm talking about is Scandal by Night by Jean Paul Gaultier. As you can see, I have a pretty big dent in this one as well. This is the fragrance that I wear exclusively in cold weather. In the heat, it becomes a bit too much for me, but in the cold, I'm literally obsessed with it. I've described it to you guys before in a previous video, but to me, this is mostly a tuberose, honey, and vanilla scent. There is some cherry in this, and I get the cherry mostly in the opening, and it gives the fragrance a bit of effervescence, and then it settles. It's still there throughout the wear of the fragrance, but it settles and it's more so in the background. And I'd say the most prominent note in this would be that tuberose note accompanied with the honey note. I feel like they're like neck and neck. The tuberose in this fragrance is a creamy, buttery, indolic tuberose to my nose. I told you guys in a previous video, this has like a skankiness to it to me. And if you guys don't know what indoles are, or if you've never heard of them, I will link my girl Manahil's video down in my description box. I definitely think it's a video that's worth watching if you're a fragrance lover who's been interested in what indoles are. Manahil is super detailed. It's definitely, yeah, it was definitely helpful for me because I had heard it and I looked it up, and there wasn't much information on indoles in general, but yeah, just go check her video out to figure out what I mean by that. But yeah, like I said, I get the vanilla in this as well, and the vanilla just adds even more like creamy butteriness to the fragrance. And then of course the honey note, like I said, is neck and neck with the tuberose note. It adds a like sticky sweetness to the fragrance. This is super sweet, so if you don't like sweet fragrances, I wouldn't recommend it. If you're afraid of the tuberose note in this fragrance, I don't think it's one that you need to be scared of, because as you guys know, I'm not the hugest fan of tuberose typically in fragrances. It has to be done a certain way or else it can give me a headache or make me feel nauseous. I think it's perfect in this fragrance, and I think it works well with literally every other aspect of this fragrance. So yeah, again, that is Scandal by Night. Oh, and the performance, amazing. This one is one that you're gonna smell consistently the entire time you're wearing it. These fragrances that I'm gonna be showing you in this video are fragrances that, for me, have a great projection. So that means that they're able to cut through that cold air. So that's why I picked these particular fragrances for my winter lineup. So yeah, again, that is Scandal by Night. And I forgot to mention with Angel Share, the projection for that one is strong, but it's one of those fragrances that you're gonna smell it while you're wearing it, but it doesn't feel like it's super heavy or the type of fragrance that's gonna be intruding on someone's space. Like I told you guys, the person who complimented me had to be at least 6 feet away from me, and they smell it through their mask, so that lets you know that it's pretty powerful. But while I was wearing it, yes, I could smell it. Even while I was walking outside and the wind was blowing in my direction, I was still able to smell the fragrance surrounding me. But I'd say that is more of an airy fragrance. It's not one that's gonna feel like it's weighing you down while you're wearing it, if that makes sense. So yeah, I just wanted to go ahead and note that since I was talking about performance with Scandal by Night. So this next fragrance you guys saw in my signature scent fragrances video, and I wasn't anticipating putting this one in my winter lineup because I didn't think it was gonna perform well enough in the cold weather to be included in this list. But I wore it a couple days ago and it was pretty cold that day. I think it was either in the 40s or the 50s, the high was. And it tried to show out. And I was like, okay, let me know then. So After I wore it that day, it made its way onto my winter fragrance list. And the fragrance I'm talking about is Les Notes Gourmand Guimauve by Reminiscence. Like I said, you guys have seen this one on my channel. So as you guys know, I love this fragrance, and as I've said previously, the opening, it's a lot, especially the first time you smell it. For me personally, it doesn't bother me at all anymore because I guess I've gotten used to it. I just find it invigorating now. It kind of just like wakes me up when I smell it. But the opening has a lot going on. The opening smells is aromatic, it's a bit minty, it's a bit peppery, and then it's still sweet and fluffy from that marshmallow notes. But as it settles, at least on my skin, you still get all of that, but in the background. But the marshmallow becomes more prominent, and it becomes pretty much the star of the fragrance at that point on me. In the middle phase, as I said previously, it's like a sweet, fluffy, airy, realistic smelling marshmallow, a bit powdery as well. And then in the dry down, it smells like you've been roasting marshmallows. Like you just took a bite of your roasted marshmallow. Or even, like I said, it kind of smells a bit chocolatey as well to me. There's like a sweet creaminess in the dry down, along with that toasted marshmallow scent that I get that kind of reminds me of chocolate. I love it. I don't think it's a safe blind buy, but I don't find it off-putting at all. I think this fragrance is beautifully blended and I love everything about it. I wouldn't change a thing. So yeah, again, that is Les Notes Gourmand Guimauve by Reminiscence. Now this next fragrance is one that you guys haven't seen on my channel, I don't think since like last year, if I'm not mistaken. It was either last year or very early on this year. And that's because it's another fragrance that I wear strictly in the cold weather. I don't like it in the heat. It makes me feel a bit nauseous when it's hot outside, but it's so beautifully perfect in the cold weather to me. And the fragrance I'm talking about is Nuit Blanche, or Black Opium Nuit Blanche by Yves Saint Laurent. The bottle looks like. As I've said previously, I love this fragrance, and to me, it literally smells like you have a vanilla latte with loads of vanilla syrup and a few pumps of caramel syrup. It's sweet, it's creamy. The projection on this is amazing. It's gonna perform literally the entire time I wear it. I can smell this fragrance. And I'd say the projection is strong as well, because it's one that's I can smell while I'm wearing it, and other people who aren't even close to me can smell as well. So yeah, if you like the original Black Opium, to me the original it smells more like a black coffee with vanilla syrup, you know, no creamer, and the sweetener is literally the syrup. That's what the original smells like to me. This one I feel like it's more, like I said, it's a latte, so it's more milky, creamy. The coffee note in this I feel is more subtle. So if that's something you're looking for, then I think this one would be a good one to try out. So again, that is Black Opium Nuit Blanche. So this next fragrance you guys saw in my last video, and as I mentioned in that video, is one I've been reaching for quite a bit here recently in this cooler weather, and I feel like it's perfect for that. The fragrance I'm talking about is Absolutio Parfum by Novatus Perfumes. What it looks like. And I believe that Steven from Reminiscence was the creative director behind this fragrance. So as I mentioned in that video, this reminds me of what you get if you combined Baccarat Rouge 540, the original and the extrait, and Tom Ford Lost Cherry. So if you took all three of those fragrances and poured them into one bottle, I feel like this is something like what you would get. The note profile is similar to the 540s, so I feel like that's probably why I get the similarities there. And as I mentioned in that video, in the opening, this fragrance smells like it has a cherry liqueur note. It does not, but there is an almond note in this, and I feel like that cherry liqueur scent is probably coming from that almond note in this fragrance. I'd say the most prominent note in this fragrance on my skin after the opening, so from like the middle phase to dry down, is the saffron note, and it just gives the fragrance like a bittersweet earthiness. And in the very dry down, I start to get more of the woody notes that are in this and the ambergris. And as I've said previously, I love ambergris as a note. To me, it's just like a slightly sweet, salty, skin-like musk scent. and I love it. This has amazing performance. This is one that's going to project, and it's going to project well throughout the entire wear. I think I mentioned it in my previous video, but when I wear this fragrance, I can smell it projecting through my mask as if I don't even have a mask on. But it doesn't feel overwhelming. I'd say it's heavier than the Angel Share, so I wouldn't call it airy per se, but it doesn't feel like it's weighing me down while I'm wearing it, even though I can smell it throughout the entirety of the wear. This is probably another fragrance that I would wear strictly in cooler weather because I feel like it could probably become a bit overwhelming when it's hot, but yeah, it's been perfect for this time of year, and I love it. So again, that is Absolutio Parfum by Navitus Parfums. Okay guys, so this next fragrance is another Kilian fragrance, and this is from the My Kind of Love collection, I think is what it's called. It's available at Sephora. And this is Kilian Kissing. I'm not reading all that. Y'all can see it. Long behind name. But Kissing is in bold red, so I call it Kissing. When I first smelled this fragrance, I was immediately reminded of another fragrance I've tried. I've never heard anybody say this before, so maybe it's just my nose, I don't know. But this reminds me of Un Bois Vanille by Serge Lutens, or Lutens, I don't know how to pronounce his name. But I tried that fragrance, I had it on my list to pick it up. Maria actually sent me a sample of it, and I was kind of surprised that I liked it as much as I did because it wasn't a fragrance that I feel that old me would have enjoyed, I'd say that. Because to me, it's not very sweet, but it was something about it that just kind of drew me in. So when I got this fragrance, I didn't feel like I needed that fragrance anymore. I feel like they're that similar to where I feel like it's not necessary to own both of those fragrances. So to me, this fragrance is sweeter than Un Bois Vanille, so for that reason, I prefer this fragrance because y'all know I love my sweet fragrances. And I also feel that this one would probably be easier to digest than Un Bois Vanille. And that's not to say that Un Bois Vanille is a bad fragrance at all. Like I said, I loved it when I tried it. But I feel like it's one of those fragrances that will probably be a love or a hate for a lot of people. I feel like the sweetness in this kind of makes this one, like I said, easier to digest than that fragrance. So to me, the vanilla note in this is the most prominent note, and it smells like a sweet, toasted, almost burnt vanilla to my nose. And it also has a milky creaminess to it. I know it has a milk note, but I feel like it's more creamy than milky. And then there's also a green floral aspect that I get from the fragrance as well. Also, this is gonna sound kind of weird, but there's also a powderiness to this scent that kind of reminds me of like maybe an adult body powder, or even the waxiness that I get from Un Bois Vanille. So I don't think this fragrance would be a safe blind buy either. I feel it's one that should be sampled first, even though I blind bought it. And I blind bought it because of Shaughnessy here on YouTube. I think her channel name is simply Shaughnessy. And I think she said that this particular one in the My Kind of Love line was her favorite. She did tell me that I should probably sample it first, but I'm hard-headed. And it worked out because I love it. Now, I will say that this one is a beast. I made the mistake of spraying it on super heavily, as I usually do when I first got it, and it wasn't too heavy initially, but it's one of those fragrances that I found intensifies as I wear it. So when you try this fragrance out, just tread lightly on the sprayer. Don't make my mistake. But I find that I can overspray it when it's colder outside and it doesn't overwhelm me. When I got this, it was still relatively warm outside. This is another fragrance that I feel like I would wear exclusively in the cold weather. But yeah, again, that is Kilian Kissing. So this next fragrance y'all know I love, and it's about time for me to get another bottle because it's literally on its last leg. So the fragrance I'm talking about is Flower by Kenzo L'Elixir. That's what that looks like. And as I said previously, this to me smells like caramelized nuts, sweet, creamy vanilla, and it also has this makeup powdery scent to it. This is beautiful. This is a fragrance that I told you guys I'd wear year round. I feel like it's perfect for literally every season. The performance of this one is amazing. It's another one of those fragrances that doesn't feel super heavy while you're wearing it, but it's gonna perform. It's gonna project. You're gonna smell it, people around you are gonna smell it, but I don't think it's gonna be anything that's going to be overwhelming to neither you or people around you. But yeah, again, that is Kenzo Flower Lay Elixir. So next I have two fragrances, and that's because they are inspired by the same fragrance, so they smell very, very similar to me. So the first one I have here is by Dua Fragrances, and it's called Caramel Delight. And both of these fragrances are inspired by Xerjoff Lyra. So the next one is by Fragranza, and it's called Limone e Vanilla. So this one is an eau de parfum, and the Dua is an extrait de parfum. I'm gonna talk about the scent of them both together because it's pretty much the same scent to me. I was gonna declutter one because I'm like, I don't need both of these, but then I wore them back to back and I couldn't declutter either one. Plus, the Dua one is 1 ounce and the Fragranza is 2 ounces. So together it's only 3 ounces. Most of my bottles are 100 ml anyway, so that's how I justify keeping them both. But to me, these smell like freshly baked lemon and vanilla cookies, and baked to the point where they're a little bit crispy, almost on the verge of being a bit burnt. And sprinkled with cinnamon spice on top. That's exactly what I get from these. So beautiful. The vanilla in this is sweet and creamy. The lemon in this is tart, but not overly tart. I'd say it's a bit zesty as well, but the sweet creaminess of the vanilla helps to balance that out very well to where the lemon doesn't come off sharp. Now, the difference between these two, if you were trying to decide which one you wanted, I say the main difference is the projection. The Dua one projects a bit more, as it should, because it's an extrait de parfum and the Fragranza is only an eau de parfum. But that's not to say that the Fragranza fragrance is lacking in performance, because it's not by any means. This one still performs really well on my skin, and I feel like you'd be good with either or. If you want a larger size, go with the Fragranza. If you want slightly more projection, go with the Dua fragrance. I feel that they last about the same amount of time on my skin, about 8 hours from both of them is what I get, which I think is good. If I had to pick one, I'd say I slightly prefer the one from Dua. I feel like, I don't know, it just smells slightly more quality to my nose, and then maybe because it has a higher percentage of perfume oil in it since it's an extrait de parfum. But that's not saying that this doesn't smell quality, because it does smell quality. This one just smells like it's slightly more quality. But I love them both. As I said, I wasn't able to get rid of either one of them, so that lets you know that I love them both. And they've been perfect in this cooler weather. Y'all know I'm a gourmand lover, and lemon and vanilla cookies, who doesn't want to smell like that? Well, I'm sure some people don't, but I want to smell like that. I've been looking for a good lemon gourmand fragrance for the longest, and these are definitely great ones. And being that they smell so similar to each other, I think they would probably be a good alternative to Lyra if you guys were looking for one. So yeah, again, that is Caramel Delight by Dua Fragrances and Limone e Vanilla by Fragranza. So this next fragrance is one that you guys know I love. It is Marc Jacobs Decadence. The bottle. And most people hate the bottle. I love it. So as I've said previously, to me this smells like a sweet, ripe, juicy plum with a bit of smoky woodiness to it, almost burnt. And then there's a bit of greenness in the background as well to my nose. Some people get pickle from this. I don't. But I think the reason why they get pickle from it is the saffron notes. I've noticed that some fragrances with a saffron note in it can sometimes smell a bit like pickles to me. So I feel like that's probably the note that's doing that for some people, but I don't get that on my skin. It just smells amazing on me and I love it. And I feel like this one is one that's perfect for the colder weather because it's gonna perform. You're gonna be able to smell it the entire time you're wearing it. And yeah, y'all know I love this fragrance, so there's not too much I need to say about it. But again, that is Marc Jacobs Decadence. And last but not least is another fragrance that you guys know I love. I have here Burberry Her Intense. So as I mentioned previously, this smells like sweet syrupy dark berries and benzoin. And the benzoin here to me kind of smells like a medicinal vanilla scent. Some people say this fragrance smells like cough syrup to them. I can see why they say that. Because like I said, the benzoin here smells a bit medicinal, but I don't know, on my skin I just find it very pleasing. I think it's very beautiful in the cold weather, especially because it has an amazing performance, and in the cold wind it just kind of carries the fragrance. I feel like the berries, even though they're syrupy here, they're a bit tart as well. And I don't know, I feel like that medicinal vanilla scent from the benzoin along with the syrupy yet tart dark berries, it just kind of works, at least on my skin. And yeah, I love this fragrance. So again, that is Burberry Her Intense. Okay guys, we have made it to the end of this video. Let me know down in the comments what fragrance you guys are looking forward to wearing most this winter. And yeah, besides that, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to my channel before you leave, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.